we're back, and joining me right now is local entrepreneur, all-around good egg, Michael Armanno.
I don't know about all that.
Well, how you doing, Michael?
I'm good. They call me the Haberdasher of Jacks, which I'm really just trying to get that going. So
right.
Haberdasher Jacks, because I do so many different things. So it's hard to be like, yeah, I'm this and that. But
you just got so much hustle going on right now.
Yeah, well, right now and last year and the year before, and since pretty much I stepped out of my parents' house, I've been like doing everything I possibly can. And honestly, a lot of that started when I was a kid too, because I would like pick trash out of the heavy trash day and like rebuild bicycles and sell them. I remember I used to rent CDs at the library and burn them onto blank discs and like sell them at school, because that's what you did in the 90s, and if you weren't doing that, then what's the point? That's how entrepreneurship starts. On LimeWire, you get a couple family viruses on the computer and you start a business. Start slinging music.
Doing one thing. Well, back in my day, you're talking about burning discs. We used to burn the mixtapes.
Exactly.
The cassettes, and everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing it.
Well, I mean, I used to DJ too, and that was another fun thing is like watching. I actually started on CDJs, so like not tapes back then, but we were still rocking like these huge pieces of equipment. And I see DJs nowadays that come in with like their cell phone and they're mixing on like apps, and I'm like, but what happened to the big turntables and headphones? And now you got like AirPods, and everything's getting scaled back, and
absolutely,
and a lot of that stuff I like. I've got my AirPods, I've got the iWatch and all that, but like as much as I love this iWatch, I would still rather wear a manual, like, a fun, unique clock on my arm, but the convenience of, especially when you're an entrepreneur, you have busy days and, you got alerts going off, and it's nice to just be able to glance and see what's going on.
Sure.
Plus, I spend so much time working, I barely get to see my kids, so I have a rotating album of my children, so that way I feel like, a little closer to home throughout the day.
Right.
So it works out okay.
So you're Haberdasher, your clothier line, you're waiting on the city to come around so you can get your storefront open.
Jacksonville. So I moved here about 4 years ago. They say it's easier here, and I have found that to be the case in some aspects and not so much in others. But we are. So I've been a traveling salesman, just like the old plays. You think of that. I legitimately just kind of traveled around the country. After college, I worked for a company called Dish Crawl, and we did like entertainment events, like bar crawls for restaurants, right? So you go to all these different restaurants, and I went to school for media production. So I was meeting chefs all over the country and like having all this amazing food and recording video content. I met my tailor in college, and we started a clothing company because she's the 8th generation master tailor in her family. So like it's been passed down since the 1800s from French and Italian clothiers when they colonized Vietnam. They came in and they taught her family how to do like the crafting of these suits and stuff. So I've been doing all these different entrepreneurial things, and it always fell back to clothing, so I kind of got away with it a little bit, away from it from my college, a couple years after college, because I was doing the food stuff, and I still I could still design a little bit here and there. But after that, I got into some brick and mortar businesses. I opened a club in Indiana, and then a restaurant and a music venue, and I was doing all kinds of things. I had a production studio, all this big stuff, and I was doing my clothing on the DL. So I was doing a couple dozen suits a year, and you don't make a living, making a couple designs out of the year. So you do all kinds of other stuff. So I've always been known as this go-getter, and, doing what I can and selling what I can. And after nearly 10 years of, wanting to really, truly just do my clothing and design the clothing I want to do, I had an opportunity. I've got friends and family that have, after all these years, seen how much we've grown, and they've backed me and supported me, and I've came here 4 years ago and really built a fantastic network, have really great support. And that's one of the things where they say it's easier here, that's what they're talking about.
Right.
It's not so much like the red tape and the bureaucracy. That's all there. That's everywhere you go, literally all the places. What is easier here is coming in and getting community support. Like when I moved here, I had no problem finding people who, even if they didn't wear a suit at all ever, because we're in Florida, and let's be honest, a lot of people don't wear suits, and that's fine. But they would still be like, that's so cool. I really like that. I don't know anyone that does that, and like, hey, I have this friend who loves to dress up and you should meet them. And like, I've never had so many people come to me and be like, you should talk to XYZ because of whatever reason. And so like, that was really cool because I've gone to all these cities across the country and then I came here and it's got that Southern hospitality.
Right.
Everybody's very kind and nice to each other, and you got bad eggs once in a while, but that's fine. Sometimes you just don't jive with certain people, and that's cool. So you just part ways and do what you can to build your community. Otherwise, sometimes that's just how it is. But I like the community action I see, and it's the cool thing about Jacksonville is that it's so big and spread out that you have these little pockets of culture. Everywhere, right? You got Riverside, Murray Hill, Springfield, you got Mandarin, you got all these different aspects of the city. You can go out to the beaches one day and you can go out and camp in the wilderness the next. You can be riding in an urban landscape downtown, and then you can be going through a historic district along the riverfront. Right. There's so much different cultural, and there's so many different people that it helps us build something that's like what I consider a true all-American city. Like everything you could possibly want to do here, it's here. And you may have to search for it to find it because Jacksonville is too spread out. Yeah. And that's the hard thing because like unless you're looking for it, sometimes you'll miss it.
Yeah. And a lot of the times, things that are available to do in Jacksonville and Duval County at large, a lot of those things are free.
There is a lot of free stuff.
A lot of free stuff.
I really didn't expect all that because I've gone to major cities and you pretty much pay for everything,
Right.
No matter what, whether it's parking or whatever. But there is a lot of free events, and especially for families. I'm active with MoCA and the museums. I have the museum memberships. The zoo has a lot of great events going on, and then even just the businesses like retail stores, like local boutiques and stuff. They're hosting events, and like that's another thing that you really don't see in a lot of places. You hear about pop-up shops and stuff like that, but when I first got started, you wouldn't believe the different types of businesses that offered to have me. Where I could come in and bring a trunk full of my clothing and designs. I've done it at I've literally done consultations at bars and hair salons and restaurants and like just all these different local businesses because they know what it's like to get these businesses started, and they saw me, wanting to build my name, and they gave me this opportunity to be here 4 years later, and now I'm opening my first brick and mortar, like, it's a designer brand, I'm not a designer, I don't think of myself like Ralph Lauren or Calvin Klein, but it is something that I love, and I love what it does to people, like when people find the perfect fit or the right outfit, whether it's special events, weddings, prom, whatever, even if it's just the stuff you wear daily, if it makes you feel good, then I've done my job. And it's just like Miss Mackey said when she came in, you come and you leave as friends, and that's exactly what it should be. You should come in here, and I want to help guide you through this process where a lot of people think that what I do is like this elite thing, because when you think about a custom suit, you think of like, oh gosh, it must be thousands of dollars, and it's not, The only reason it's thousands of dollars is because of Milan and Paris, you have these big designer labels, and people don't understand fashion, it's like, it's not about fashion, it's not about what's fashionable, it's about style, and that's individual style. It's not about what people tell you is popular, what you should be wearing, it's about what you want to wear and what makes you feel good. I wear a 3-piece suit in the middle of summer in Florida. It doesn't make sense. I'm opening a brick and mortar location in the middle of a pandemic. It doesn't make sense, but it feels good. It makes me feel good. So when people come in and they find the perfect dress or they customize the perfect handcrafted suit, they put it on and it makes them feel good, I've done my job.
There you go.
So that's what I want to do. I want to bring that feeling to Jacksonville, because that's how I felt when I moved here. People came in, I felt great about what I was doing, and it made me push further and want to do more because people like gave me their support, and they didn't know me. I came in and like I am friends with everybody on Facebook. And it's people are like, oh, how do you meet all these people? How do you know all these people? And I really don't. They know me. And
Right.
they support me because they find interest in what I'm doing, and like every little bit of support I get, I'm getting the opportunity to talk to these people and figure out what they're offering, what they're doing, and partner. You know, and that's one of the most exciting things about what we're doing with the store. And like the whole reason I want to do the store is because realistically, I could go and sell custom suits anywhere, at home and office. I've been doing it for 10 years. I don't necessarily need a store. What I need the store for is to feature other local creators. So we're working with people who design crowns, you know, like custom crowns.
Right.
Masks, accessories, other designers, whether it's streetwear or, you know, formal or just like a summer dress. We're working with other creators in Jacksonville and surrounding areas to really like help build that community. Because that's exactly what I felt when I came here, was a sense of community, and they supported me. And now it's my opportunity to where I've gained from that. I've been able to grow into a place where I can even do this, which is crazy to me.
Well, and it's great. It's great that you're working with, you know, local creators and so forth, and even in hanging up art, for that matter. We do it right here. Some of our friends have done these.
Yeah, and that's important.
And supporting the local artists, having them in the shop, even crafts people for that matter. You know, Wolf and Cub, they do, there's a lot of, you might say like consignment stuff in there. But it turns your brick and mortar into a unique boutique.
Yeah, and it's not so much about just coming to shop. I just want people to come in and experience it, you know? Right. And this all, for me, this comes from my previous brick and mortar businesses. You know, I owned a club and a music venue, and I did the same thing. You know, we're featuring local artists and musicians and talent, and we're putting the artwork on the walls. So over the past 10 years, I've been doing all these things that really are only going to amplify the clothing. And that's the part that I like, right? But when I am able to give the thing that I'm passionate about, and I can help other people build what they're passionate about, then that's the whole reason we're doing this, you know? Because like, let's be honest, I work at a car dealership 50 hours a week. I legitimately have a full-time job. I literally couldn't do this without my friends and family, my fiance, and my community, my support, you know, without podcasts like this. Like, this is I get 4 days off a month, and this is my afternoon on my day off, because I see so much value in sitting here and talking about what you're doing and what Damien's doing, what Miss Mackie and her family are doing.
Right.
Like, that's what is important to me. I will spend every moment that I have available doing this part of it, just so I can run that store and give people the same opportunity. Right. You know, if they can make just enough money to break away from their daily grind and do something they're passionate about, and I can have any part of that, I'm all for it. That's what I'm here for.
Awesome. So glad you could make it out today. I'm glad you could take time out of your busy schedule.
For sure. I mean, otherwise, I'm at Cog and Chevy selling cars. If you need a car, come and see me, or clothes, or catering. I'm sure I'll have to come back, because I do all kinds of stuff, and that's where I want to focus here, because like, we're here to highlight you, you know, just like this podcast. What you're doing is super crucial to the community, because that's what this community did for me, right? So I'm going to take this opportunity to share everything that I've seen here today going forward on the Contrast project. We're going to be using this as a huge community springboard. I'm super happy to be a part of it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming out, and you're welcome anytime.
Fantastic.
Stay